Okay, so let's talk about component slots. Component slots gives you the ability to create really dynamic components. You can have a sliding which has totally different content, but they still inherit the properties of their main parent. So it just gives you the ability to override the content of the master component, just like it here. Right, this sliding menu is an instance of this sliding menu. I can come up here and I can switch up the content. But if I do come up here and switch up the color of this element, you see it affects the child element. So I'm actually overriding specific content of this main of the main component, whereas I'm still inheriting the properties of this. So this video is going to show you how to create something like this, how to create really dynamic components. Like this could be used for basically anything, a modal, a sliding, or a navbar, whatever it is. You can actually use a slot to override specific content of any sort of main component. So yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so we start with creating a main component. You can create anything, but I'm using a sliding in this case. I'll just quickly design a main component and sliding around the corners. So 8, okay, 8 there. So yeah, I just quickly put together a sliding menu. Right. So a quick tip: it's always a good idea to have this in photo layout, right? So you can actually tweak the sizing later on. Not having it as an auto layout to make it hard to like change the sizing and all later on. So it's a good idea to always have the slots and your components in an auto layout. So I've created this as an element. I will quickly make it a component by clicking this icon here. And you see that's a component. And now we have to add our slot. So the whole idea is to have something in here you can actually swap out for that content. Right? You need something that changes, so you have to put something here you can swap out with what we change in this component. So to create a slot, right? To create a slot, you can use probably anything, but I find it best to use a frame. So I just probably create a frame, just a square frame. You can fill it, which doesn't actually affect anything. You can add whatever field you want to use since you're going to swap it out further. So this is not actually critical. So add whatever field you want to use, probably name the slot. I like making my slots look so like a slot actually, but it's just my preference. You can do whatever you want. So probably add a stroke and make the stroke dash and probably round it up. You don't have to do all this actually. It will just be a simple frame. Yeah, your slots should also be a component. You're going to have to add it within your main component and then give it a swap property. Right. So for that to happen, it actually has to be a component. So you make your slot a component also. Okay. So what else you have to do is make an instance of this your slot, basically by duplicating it and then drag it within this main component, or cut and paste it within the main component itself. Right. You can make this field container. This is why I said it should be a auto layout. Make this field container so it actually stays within the bounds of this component. So you go up here and make it a field container. And you have a slot, right? This is what you call a slot. Now to make this come alive, you need to add a component prop to it, a component property. To do that, you click on your slot within the main component, head over to here, this whole icon here. This is to create a swap instance, the instance swap property actually. So if I click on this, I can name it slot. Right. Since I could have multiple slots, I could probably name it slot 1. So I'll add an icon to it, a swap icon, and then create property. So yeah, that's it. This is how you actually create a slot within a component. So let's test this out now. The whole idea then is to swap this component with other components in your library. First off, now I have some components I've already designed down, this and this. So first I'm going to swap it with these 2 components I've created already, and then later I'll create a new component to show you how you can create yours as well. So let's move this out. This is very good. So yeah, what next I have to do is create an instance of my main component that I want to change the content of. Then go on to the right hand side. I will see the swap property I've added. Right, this property I added here, this whole slot one, swap property. If I click on my instance, I should be able to see that swap property. So I click on it, locate the sliding components, all these components here. Right, it should be in my library. Locate the sliding component and then click on any of them, and you see it swaps it with that element. I can look for any other component in my library and swap. Right, so this way I can create components that are dynamic, whereas it all comes from this main component. Right, I can come here and switch up the header for my text and say new component or something. New component, and then come up here. I'll probably switch up the color and affect the color of this one. I'm overriding the content of my main component, but then I'm still able to make all those necessary changes on my main component and it affects the instances. So you get the best of two worlds, right? Ability to create dynamic components and then the ability to switch up content from your main component and to affect instances. I come here, delete this, and actually delete from my main component, from my instance actually. Right. Okay, so let's say I want to create a totally new component that I can swap within my sliding. Right, so let's create something real quick. So let me swap this component. Probably add an auto layout to it. Go and make a fix to it. Like this. So it could be anything actually. Make this text a bit smaller. So for you to be able to actually swap the content of your instance, what you're about to swap it with must actually be a component. Like this component, I must actually make it a component so I can actually add it within this. So I come here and make it a component. Right. So this actually makes this visible in my library, right? My component library. If I don't make it a component, I can actually set it in my library and it can't be swapped with. So I click on this and then locate this whole item in my component library. Swap this component and then have this here. I can come here and change the content of this and actually change the content in my instance. Right, so you can actually get really creative with this. You can add multiple slots within this so that you can actually swap as much as possible. Yeah, so this is the idea of a component slot and how it makes it possible for you to create really dynamic components.